I'm just leaving the Anchorage at Pelican Bay, Inskip Point, heading for Gary's Anchorage. I tell you what, the Great Sandy Straits is just a tinny's paradise. If you're a little tinny, you want to come out here, do a bit of crabbing, a bit of fishing. It is just a magic boating area. It's 2:30 in the afternoon and I've just pulled up in a spot that's named Gary's Anchorage. That's Fraser Island on the right hand side here, and this is Stewart Island over here. It's a very narrow little passage and it's quite shallow, and I don't feel comfortable going any further in. There's no need for me to go further in than that. Not far north of where I am here at Gary's Anchorage is Sheridan Flats, which is the shallowest point in the Great Sandy Straits, and that's the reason why I'm stopping here and not continuing on through. The high tide's not until 6:30 this afternoon, so stopping here gives me a good start in the morning without having to get up at a ridiculous time and leave during the dark. Great Sandy Straits is not a place you want to be motoring around in the dark, because the shifting sands, there's sandbanks everywhere, shallow water all over the place, and deep water obviously, but you need to know where you're going, and without local knowledge, got to rely on the chart. I've woken up to another beautiful morning this morning. I didn't stop at Kingfisher Bay Resort yesterday. I decided to keep going, put the sails up, and I sailed around to Coongal Creek just on Fraser Island, and I'm now about to sail up to Wathumba Creek. When I say sail, there's almost no wind, so there might not be a lot of sailing happening. I've got 14 miles to get to Wathumba Creek. Sailing at 2 knots will take me 7 hours. But hopefully we get a bit of a puff of wind and I can do it better than that. If it's going to be that slow, I'll start the engines and motor. I ended up sailing halfway, a bit more than halfway. I sailed for about 5.5 hours, but I was only doing 2 knots. Best I saw was about 2.4 knots, and a lot of what I saw was 1.9 knot. But I was editing videos, so I didn't mind, and then I motored for the last 45-50 minutes. Wow, zero wind. I'm anchored up just outside of Bundaberg Creek in Hervey Bay, and the wind is 0. The wind increases tomorrow to 10 to 15 knots from the southwest, 15 to 20 south-southeast in the afternoon. So I'll sail to Moon Point tomorrow and sleep there the night. I've got a commitment I've got to get back to Brisbane for, so I'm heading to Bundaberg this morning. I've got the boat booked in at the marina in Bundaberg tomorrow, but there's a strong wind warning tomorrow, so I've left a day early. Oh, what a difference the wind makes. Hervey Bay looks totally different now. Beautiful sailing conditions. I've got 20 knots on the beam. I'm sailing at 6.5 to 7 knots. But Hervey Bay looks just so different compared to yesterday when we had glassed out conditions. Actually the last 2 days have been glassed out. I'm sailing from Bundaberg Creek across to Bundaberg, and we've got 15 to 20 knots of wind. It's blowing at about 17, 18 knots now. And you can see that wind is almost on the beam. Conditions always look better on the camera than what they do in actual reality. I've got about 20 to 25 knots. So I've got 2 reefs in the mainsail, and I've got the head sail reefed as well. And I'm still doing 6.5 to 7 knots. As I get further out into the bay, I'm expecting that speed will probably increase, the wind will increase as I get more and more exposed. Starting to get a little bit more exposed towards the middle of Hervey Bay, and I'm seeing speeds of 7 to 7.5 knots. I got wind blowing at 20 knots, gusting to 25 knots. It's now 12:25. The wind's dropped down to 10 to 15, 13, 14, 15 knots. So I've just taken the second reef out of the main and put the first reef in, and that's taken us from 4.5 knots up to between 5.5 and 6. I'm now about halfway across the bay where I'm most exposed, but the wind's actually dropped. I'm sailing at 6 knots. I've got 20 miles remaining out of the 40-mile trip. I'm anchored up in the Burnett River at Bundaberg. I came across yesterday due to the strong wind warning that was coming in today. So I came a day early, and I've just anchored up overnight. I'm moving up to the marina in about an hour or so, and the boat will be in there for a week while I go back to Brisbane to attend my beautiful little granddaughter's first birthday. So it's day 13 today. I've just been back to Brisbane for a week to our little granddaughter's first birthday, and then Kerry, my wife, has come up and joined for a few days. She's just watching a movie now on the iPad. We're just going out into Hervey Bay for a couple of days, 3 or 4 days. The timing of little Molly's first birthday was spot on because we had 35 knot winds, and I had booked the boat into the marina at Bundaberg, so it worked out pretty good timing. The boat was in the marina while the wind was howling, and I was in Brisbane. Kerry's got to be back in Brisbane for the weekend, so I'll drop her back at Bundaberg and then continue the journey north. So the wind's just changed and become more easterly, which doesn't help us because now we're having to tack. You can see the direction the boat is heading out there. Our destination is here. We were sailing straight towards it, and we've only got about 10 knots of wind. So we'll keep persevering. We're probably going to get there in the dark. So we've had some pretty light wind today, between sort of 7 and 12 knots. We've been sailing at around about 4, at best 5.5 knots, but mostly sort of 4.5-ish. And I've had to start the motors just to get us into our anchorage at Hervey Point around about 20 past 6 this evening. So it will be pretty close to dark. Conditions pretty nice. Showers, we had quite a few showers, very light showers, but still showers all the same. You can see a shower out there to the port side. Showers off in the distance there as well. Looking south towards Urangan. There's a blue sky, patchy blue sky, but generally cloudy, and that's pretty much the conditions that we've had today. You can see the sea state is quite calm. A white cap here and there, so you're talking 12 knots at the moment. Well, we've woken up to some nice weather this morning. Winds dropped down to about 10 knots. That's Fraser Island there. And just up to the north there is Hervey Point. Forecast for today is less than 10 knots. We have a black cloud over Fraser, on the other side of Fraser. I was surprised we didn't see any whales yesterday. No doubt we'll see some today. Because we're anchored so close to the land and the wind's blowing us towards land, which is termed a lee shore, I was concerned about dragging the anchor. One of the first things I changed on this boat when I bought it was replacing this articulated plough with a Rockner anchor. I had an articulated plough on a trailer boat years ago, and the first tide change when the boat swung around, the anchor never reset. I ended up drifting out in the middle of Moreton Bay at the middle of the night. Having said about researching anchors, I ended up buying a Rockner and never regretted it. They're such a good anchor. They reset very quickly when the boat swings around. I can just see a dolphin behind the camera. Oh, sorry, and a whale. A whale just surfaced behind the camera. And the Rockner has never dragged. I've got full confidence in it. So anyone who's got an articulated plough, get rid of it. Put a Rockner on. Yes, they're expensive, $1,200 for my Rockner anchor for this, 25 kilo, but it allows you to sleep at night. Just talking about whales before, and there's one right in front of the boat. It just surfaced. Kerry was videoing, and she stopped videoing, and next thing, its tail come out of the water and with a big splash. And now it's just gone right across the front of the boat. Breathed just in front of us, but I missed it. And now too far away for the GoPro to get it. The GoPro's lens is so wide angle that everything looks a mile away. Well, we're now back in the Bundaberg port marina. We had a nice sail across from Hervey Point this morning. It took about 8 hours. We were sailing at about between 5 and 7 knots. So Kerry will drive home tomorrow, and I will head north, probably to Lady Elliot Island. I don't think I'll have time to get to Lady Musgrave. Lady Musgrave is about 50 nautical miles. Lady Elliot is about 40. So with a bit of a late start, I should still be able to get to Lady Elliot with the forecast that we have tomorrow, 15 to 20 knots from the southeast.